Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, kings, queens, mighty knights, and mages, how is everyone doing tonight? Welcome to Broadcast.gg Open Scrim Nights. My name is Manny or Sunny, and I'm joined here by none other than Labosco, and on the ones and twos, Cubot. How's it doing, my dudes?
Dude, it is going really great. Excited for another Scrim Nights. I know for you, it has been a while, so I'm stoked that we get you back into doing this on some Scrim Nights action, get you all ready for when Open Division comes around again. And yeah, it's Hot Dads Esports versus Team Caustic. I mean, as far as names go, those are two very interesting names.
Yeah, definitely. Hot dads. I'm actually happy that they're all males. I'd like to hope they're all actual fathers as well, because that just makes it even better. I can imagine a bunch of dads walk around with like their toddlers in their laps, the little papooses on the front with like a newborn baby sitting there watching their dad go back and forth. And then on the other side, Team Caustic. They're it's not as cool of a name. I don't know what caustic means because my vocabulary is about 3 pages long, but I can read these other names that I see because those words are simpler. Team Caustic being a team about 3,400 SR, some pretty high class stuff. Their team going down the lineup, their captain is Oblivion DVDR. He's going to be the tank as well. He's played on some other teams in the past. Kiba, he played on Average Squad with 2 other members of the team as well. He's going to be their tank, and he primarily plays Diva. THC Gambit, nothing to do with drugs, is their secondary tank, going to be playing the Winston. Arietta, their main support, is going to be playing Mercy, accompanied by Panda Boy 2064, who flexes, but primarily is going to be flexing into the that secondary support, bringing them that Ana when they need it. Yakul is going to be their DPS, or their what's that word?
There's hit scan main?
Hit scan, thank you. Cannot remember. Their hit scan DPS coming out with that Tracer, and then Rage Roamer is going to be that projectile DPS on the Genji. We might see throughout the series as well, coming out, I don't want to say the bench because that's mean, the substitutions or the swaps. We may say lack of a playing Lucia. I like that. We have no lack of a healer. Kiba Kira, one of the members that also played along with Oblivion, DVDR, and Arietta on a previous team, likes to play that Brigitte as a secondary flex. And then A-Train on that Roadhog. The team so far has been together about 3 months. They like to play dive, and I'm really excited to see them play. But I also want to hear about. I also want to see Hot Dads play.
Yeah, we've got on the other side Hot Dads. Their average SR is around 3.5K, which is about the same as what you saw on the other side for Caustic. By the way, Caustic means sarcastic in a scathing and bitter way. So it's actually a pretty good name. It could also mean able to burn or corrode organic tissue by chemical action. So you're getting burned by them is basically what they're saying. But back to the team, they've got Milky as his main role is a Lucio player. Felony is a Moira player. Mark Candy is Zarya. I almost said Zyra. I don't know why. Thinking of xylophones, I guess. Antithesis is Widowmaker. Tommy is their Reinhardt, and Primetime is their Genji. Those are what they have listed. Of course, depending on the map, Manny, we could see some different things. We're going to Lijiang Night Market first, so there's a lot of possibilities here, and obviously we got to wait till the doors open. But it looks like both of these teams are looking to go 3 support, 3 tank as the way that they want to go.
Yeah, I got to tune in for a little bit of the Overwatch World Cup. Coming out of my jungles or my adventures in the Central American jungles, I missed a lot of the meta. So I'm really curious. This 3 tank, 3 support. A lot of teams are we finding that we want to, as team fights have become longer, or why are we seeing this shift away from our standard 2-2-2 or DPS that we saw months ago?
Well, there's a lot of beef to this lineup is part of it, but there's also a lot of damage and CC in this lineup. The Brigitte stun onto the Reinhardt can really cause problems for teams, and we're going to see that happen here as both teams, same strategy, get onto the point and battle it out.
Yeah, they're just going to get here, kind of just smacking around on the point, waiting for it to unlock the standard. And I'm starting to see it. Everybody has all this health, and all this health being replenished, so nobody's really going down yet. Just looking at the health bars, as soon as somebody gets below half, more health fills them up, but eventually somebody's going to have to fall. These Reinhardt shields coming down, waiting for the first hook to see who's going to be the first victim to fall, and ulti actually comes through everybody on the ground. Now we hear Mamayo beaming through everybody, going to push 3 people to their graves on the red team. Of course, another one bites the dust, and blue team's going to open this one up pretty well.
Yeah, Felony able to do really well, too, with the Coalescence there, following up on the Reinhardt Earthshatter. So you were asking, about, like, You know, is this something that takes a long time? Well, it depends on how your team's fighting. Both teams weren't focusing targets as well as they could have, so targets weren't falling, so it's just a matter of who could get ults faster, and it was Hot Dads who did.
Yeah, and now even here, they're keeping them holding up in the doorway. Triple Diva ulti, gonna push them back 100% right here. And now they're just trying to get to their stragglers as they run to the base. Arietta's gonna be the only one surviving from that. And that's a pretty clean 5-man wipe in that doorway. It shows from earlier they only used the Reinhardt ulti, so they were able to save that Zarya and that Diva for the second fight. And now, I believe the other team used their Coalescence, and they used their Brigitte ulti, so they're not going to have as many available for the second push through, and they're not even going to try to use anything, just getting ravished at the first set of doorways and just running with their tails between their legs. This is not looking fun. Team kill.
They are having a really tough time right now, but it's also great alt use by Hot Dads Esports. They're cycling through their ultimates. Tommy was able to build up another Earth Shatter in that last fight. I mean, we saw him use it in the first fight, so he is getting a lot of value, and he's already almost to another one as well. He's already to 50%. He just used it, so it's like the ultimate's building up so fast for them. Caustic just have to be a little bit more careful here. They've got to use their ultimates wisely if they want to take this.
Yeah, they're going to have to find somebody. It might have to be this ulti right here getting used by Zarya, pulling everybody in from the blue team. But honestly, it doesn't really do too much to them. I think it got eaten by Diva. They continue to fight. The ground being knocked down. Here we go. THC Gambit pushing forward. But here's the counter Zarya ulti. And now the red team's all grouped together. Blue doing all this damage on top of them. First, we're going to see Panda Boy. Next, we're going to see Brigitte. And now, as we see people splitting and running different directions, the team has fallen apart as well as any sort of cohesion as they chase down this last person trying to back cap. Gonna tick up to 98, and with nobody alive, no one in sight, we're gonna see this ending pretty decisive.
So we didn't have quite mirror comps there, Manny. We had the Roadhog instead of a Diva, and that makes a huge difference. You talked about the Graviton Surge that got eaten from Team Caustic. You can't even have the chance to do that for Caustic because they have the Roadhog. So that Roadhog is really kind of makes it really difficult to try and run that GOATS comp, as it's called, that 3 support, 3 tank. Now we go to our next map here, where we're going to see that you have a lot more options on Gardens because there's that, you know, we have that high hit ceiling, so you can have the Pharah, you can try and deal with it that way. And both these teams, that looks like it's what they want to do, is have Pharahs in the skies. And a little bit different, though, for their supports here. This could be where the difference is, depending on what they decide to do. So yeah, they go with still triple support though for Caustic.
Yeah, triple support still. I feel like they're going to be trying to put they're going to try and put a lot more focus into keeping these tanks alive, because that was one of the biggest things that was not going well for them. The other team's tank, as simple as it sounds, but it's really the answer that one team's tank stayed alive and the others didn't. And when you don't really have any DPS to back them up, it just kind of goes unfortunate. And RA right here, red team getting a headshot on the Arietta. Lucio going down, and then Brigitte, they're going to be running this Pharah just flying back with Mercy, and blue team's going to get this cap as soon as it opens up.
Arietta switching over to that is definitely a help. I think we're almost to almost completely mirror comps. You do have a Tracer, though, for Antithesis, and that seems to be helping there on the bottom. They have the Brigitte to try and deal with the Tracer, but you still have to be able to find those opportunities.
Yeah, even if you have the Brigitte, you still have to actually be able to catch up with the Tracer. If she's coming in from these awkward angles, which she has plenty of room to do on such an open map like this one, kind of doesn't working out. We're going to have Oblivion trying to chase Milky into the sky, try and get some ground for his team, but just from the counter from Marky Kenny bumping around. Going to get knocked out of the mech, though, but should be fine because Tommy, his tank friend, is coming forward and just monkeying around. Cap's still going in favor of blue team, so they're perfectly fine with scrapping it on the outside, but now the fight's being taken inside. And they might actually be able to look for something right here. Ulti coming up, Zenyatta bringing out the party with the ulti. And here we go, having the Mercy pop hers, giving everybody all that extra health. Opening up, Justice raining from above, getting eaten all up by Pharah, so not much working out for Primetime in that scenario. Now we're having the counter ulti coming out from Rage Roamer, and he gets a little bit more with this, knocks Diva out of her mech, and then quickly kills her. Red team 6-man strong at this point. Looks like they're going to be able to flip this as long as they get these last couple bodies.
Just got to get this Tracer out of the way. I'm a little surprised that they invested in their Rocket Barrage there too, Manny, because that was basically a fight that was won for them a while before that. It just took them a while. they weren't very coordinated with who they wanted to attack after they got those initial couple of picks. You've got to be a little bit quicker moving and more decisive with what you want to do because you gave so much percentage now to Hot Dad Esports. You also gave them a lot of alt charge here, so they have a little bit of alts to work with, of course, more on the side of Caustic.
Yeah, they're coming real quick up. There. Okay, well, there's the defaults, as I mentioned it. So we're going to use that to clear out some space. Double from Marky, actually. He says, anything you can do, I can do better. Now he's going to try and bust it wide open. Going to have the ulti coming out here from THC Gambit, trying to smack some people out the way. But while he's smacking all these blue team members out the way, his team's falling around him. And like Lil Uzi said, all my friends are dead, and now he's been pushed to the edge. His team's going to end up losing this right here after about 45%. So definitely a valiant turnover from them, but Hot Dad's taking it right back.
And Gambit's, so they're going to look here at the bomb that went into the air. It was a really good self-destruct there. The one bad part here about Gardens is there's not many times, not many places you can escape to if you're not too careful. So that's just kind of a tough loss there for Caustic. Losing that out of the beginning just makes things difficult from the end. Gambit just used his ult to try and stall, but now they're behind in ult economy. This could be our deciding fight here.
Indeed, right here. We're going to watch Farish. I'm going to take a look on the Farish, see what she wants to do right here. Going to be one of the more key members for them winning this fight. She's got her way over onto the point, has Mercy following her back. But so far, Primetime's taking a lot, and he's still holding on to his ulti right here. Diva ulti inside the point. She's going to use it to get Mercy, but that's pretty much all she's going to be able to get. Take out both supports, actually. That may be able to do a little something. The only question is, where's the rest of her team at to help? We're going to see THC Gambit getting revived. Now the beat's being broken down. Lucio dropping the ulti. Everybody in the middle of this point. Rage Roamer going like a monster on this point. Not seeing too much come out for Primetime as he's immediately smited down by DVDR. And now Rage Roamer and friends on Team Caustic are able to take this back at 99%. And slowly they're going to try and push us to that third part of this map.
Rage Roamer kept everything alive, but not only that, that ultimate coming out when it did, taking the Mercy, getting res out and a lot of healing is such a huge thing. If your comp is sort of centered around the Mercy, that's their main healer. So the only problem is, though, is there's a pulse bomb that you have to avoid, and you have a defensive ult and Transcendence for Felony. So there's plenty here for Hot Dads to take this and end this game.
While we have a battle going on in the sky, the main thing is going on inside this point. Felony using that ulti, getting everybody nice and healthy. Antithesis really appreciated that as he takes down Kiba Kara inside on the outside. Felony now coming inside and taking down the other sport. But Rage Roamer wins the sky battle. Marky Candy we're seeing a little bit of back and forth, but now it's starting to go way more in favor of Team Daz. As they take down these last couple members, they're looking to try and get on this point and start capping it. And Mercy's sitting here healing. She looks like she might flip it as it gets so close to 99. And if Red can't throw a body on here, Winston just missing the window, getting his body in the shield, gonna keep it alive. Let's see how this fight ends up going.
It's going to be a tough fight for them to try and win, though. They're going to have to try and commit everything here with that overtime meter going. So now you got the Mercy coming back in. She's going to try and get the res. Well, they're at least alive here a little bit, Manny.
Yeah, indeed, they're still alive. Mercy gets the ulti. She goes battle Mercy, starts gunning people down, but Justice raining from above, taking 2 down real quickly. She may go down, but she's done a big part for this team. Mercy going down, but in the end, Rage Roamer able to get a nice ulti off, but Primetime and Tommy get the final 2 words in for that fight. And blue team able to take that. Is this best of 5?
Well, they're doing best of 5, so that way you see all 3. Of course, we're in Scrim night, so you want to play every map. So now we get to go to City Center. But still, looking at that last one, Felony got off 2 Transcendences in that last fight territory, and that's a huge thing. And it looks like we need a pause here coming for one of these teams. I don't know who's the one in charge, unfortunately, to make that pause happen. So hopefully they'll be able to get that off. But while we have this little bit of extra time here, Manny, that's going to give us a little bit more time to recap there. So to extend what I was saying about Felony, he gets off 2 Transcendences. Now, the first trans is a little bit of a weird one. You think, okay, there's not really any ultimates that he's using to stop. Like, why is he using that? Well, he knows that the only ult that he had to protect his team from with his Transcendence was Rocket Barrage, which was used in the last fight. So he knows that he's able to use free reign. He used it to keep somebody alive on his team. His team eventually wins that fight. But not only that, he builds up another ultimate in the time it takes for his team to finally cap off and finally get the overtime meter done. So he gets another ultimate in a otherwise, where if he holds on to it, he could have ended up losing the team fight because he used his ultimate too early. So it's or not, used it too late. So it ends up working out well for him in that sense. So a good paying attention from Felony, knowing, okay, this ultimate was already used. There's really no other ultimates to use. And then when does he use his second Transcendence? When the Rocket Barrage does come out from Rage Roamer. So he had that ultimate built up again for when that next ult can go. But that's also a problem too on the side for Team Caustic is Rage Roamer builds one ultimate in the time it took for Felony to use one and then build another. So that isn't a good thing and something that Caustic will have to maybe pay attention to when they're looking at the fair. It's not that there weren't a lack of tanks too, Manny, for them to even try and shred down to get Farah more alt.
What do you? So I feel like that might just. Is that because you think Farah should be the one making a call on using her ulti then, if that's the case, if she feels like she's holding it on, be like, hey guys, in the time I've held this, I've seen, Felony put off 2 ultis. I feel like I should probably be using mine soon. Or how do you feel that call works within the team?
For on the side of Caustic, their Farah player being Rage Roamer, he didn't build it up right away. So, we actually ended up going out here quick. So,
yeah.
Either way, that pause kind of gave us a little false sense of hope here, but Antithesis is starting it off the right way.
Yeah, Junkrat just firing into the mix. There's not one on the side of Team Caustic. Instead, they decided to bring a Mei out, bring some more control to the team fight. And have to see how that works out as DVDR takes down his evil clone, Marky Candy. And they're pushing them back out through here. Blue team looking like look like they're kind of just giving up a point early and more so got pushed off, which is kind of surprising considering it was really only a 1-for-1 trade in that early fight. Maybe Blue team seeing something a little bit different, deciding they just want to take the passive approach.
Well, and Caustic had control of the point, so it's really hard to try and wring it back from a team that's basically a 3-3.
Fair point, but here we go. Junkrat ulti slipping around the corner, jumping down from up top, looking for somebody to sneak his way onto all the shields and gets Kiba Kira as soon as he drops it. Genji slicing through with the reset. Coalescence coming through off the backside. Arietta slicing through, trying to get somebody with that, but not able to really do too much. Antithesis and Fringe just mowing people down one at a time. DBDR can't stay alive much longer. And as we're going to see this last member, Arietta, fall, Blue team's going to look to flip this point at about 47% and start capping it in their favor.
Once the Brigitte went down, that's sort of when the fight started to end up losing. You lose so much healing when Brigitte's down, and not only that, you lose her armor. So now they're coming in here quickly.
Ulti being grouped right here. Gonna have the Zarya ulti pulling everybody into one big group, and now the Mei Storm slowing everybody down. Winners come a little early, folks, trying to smash onto somebody. The rest of the team's retreated. Zarya's gonna drop her ulti as a retreat, just as to give her by her team some defensive ground, but they can't stop the onslaught for long. Lucio leading the charge with that speed up for everybody. They don't have too many ultis in their favor, but they look like they can just flex those muscles enough, bodybuilder style, and get their way onto this point and flip it back in their favor.
They still have the 2 of the most important tanks as far as GOATS comps when you talk about it. They have their Zarya and they have their Reinhardt. So the Reinhardt using the shields of the Zarya, and Zarya is really your damage dealer in this sort of comp that they're running. So that's also why you saw them back off so quickly for Hot Dad.
A lot of Japanese being said by Genji as he opens up first team, and here we go. Reinhardt slamming onto the ground, trying to catch somebody with that ulti. 2 people already down. One of them being that control from Mei. Coalescence trying to buy a little bit more for the team, getting as many people as he can, but double Riptire. It's going to pretty much solidify as we see Reinhardt getting blasted off the face of the earth like Team Rocket. BTHC going down, and that's when you see Blue team flipping this back over at 33%. Nice sleep, though.
Caustic really just couldn't do anything about that. They lost too much worrying about prime time. Even though he didn't get anything really with the Dragon Blade, his team helped him out to finish off some kills, so his Dragon Blade still got effectiveness.
Ulti being dropped right there, bringing the whole Blue team together, and now the Storm coming out from Mei right there. They're going to group them up real nice. All this AoE, all this damage, all these people falling right here. A couple trying to make their way away, but the heals coming through where they're needed to keep the onslaught going. Brigitte putting up the shield, taking down Antithesis as he hits the ground. And they're going to take it right back, 83%. And now we have a bit of a pickle from the Blue team as they can try and rush in here with 10 seconds left.
They do have some ult advantage, though, here. And that's a good ult, but everybody's blocked off.
Everybody's blocked off the wall in such a crucial time. He gets the ult, but no follow-up. Antithesis coming through with the Riptire. And he's over here off the side, actually, looking like a genius as he blasts himself forward, gets a little bit of health back, and now he's just trying to finish off these stragglers, get his team the advantage on the point, and they're going to be able to get it and flip it here at 64%.
There was a huge anti-nade that led to that, but not only that, the Riptire just finding as many as it did. So sure, it didn't get in there right away after the shatter, but it got in there quick enough to find multiple targets and swing the fight in the favor of Hot Dad.
And now the Hot Dads are sitting on an ult advantage too to help them out. Sitting on 3, really the only thing within reach for the side of Team Caustic is going to be that Oblivion DVDR. And now with the Zarya ult being dropped, getting the few members that haven't already been walled off, everybody caught in this little laboratory. Zarya over to the side. They might be able to take her down before she gets this ulti. Sitting at 99, she has it. She's going to use it right here. Now her team's going to come from all around the corners, doing their best they can to help, but they aren't able to actually get off any damage. Antithesis and the team just mowing them down despite the oppression and the opposition, taking control of this point, getting Mei as soon as she comes out the ice. Lucio going down right afterwards, getting blasted off. And that's going to be a 3-0 on this first map by Hot Dads.
Good win for them. Marietta, she kind of got stuck there at the end and just kind of a bad place on the Moira. She did what she could, though. It just too many players were falling for the rest of her team. And I think for Hot Dads, you saw they had a pretty good handle. You know, they say that they're a team that likes to run more of sort of a dive-centric comp as far as what they told us, where, you know, you see the Genji and the Widow as the 2 DPS, although they like to play Goats tanks, though, or those Death Ball-y tanks. So you definitely saw that their Death Ball tanks were really good. Antithesis getting as many kills as he did is definitely part of the reason why. And one of the characters you want to enable most, Manny, when you talk about a 3-3 comp with a Rhine, Zarya, and Diva, is your Zarya. Your Zarya is your damage dealer. That's the sort of, you know, one of the focal points along with your Reinhardt. Those are really the two, you know, cruxes of your front line that have to be working well together. But not only that, they have to, you know, you have to be smart with how you're using your bubble. So I think we saw a lot of that happen there for them, and their supports kept them alive through things that they needed to be kept alive through. So really good understanding of the 3-3 comps and how they sort of wanted to run them.
Yeah, I really I remember I used to have this problem when I started playing Zarya back in the 3-digit SR depths. As I learned as I got higher up and I saw it executed really well, a lot of you got to play Zarya kind of on the edge, right? Like I've seen a lot of people, they'll use their bubble as they're going into fights. They'll use it earlier on the fights when I feel like in reality, and I saw this a lot, and that's partly why he was able to always stay at such a high percentage, especially he used it a lot more when he would be in that like 200, 300 health range when he knew he was taking onslaughts of damage. That way he would get the full plus 40%. And then even if he, once the bubble finally got popped, he had 3 supports behind him to keep his health up and keep him in that good zone. So that way, as soon as he got shield again, he could just keep on upping his percentage. And I really like to see that. It separates what separates the good Zaryas from the great Zaryas.
Well, and there's also that damage mitigation that can come from your Diva as well on the side for Hot Dads, where with Caustic, we didn't see the Diva as much. So that was the difference, at least on the first map. So that's one of the things, too, that you can always sort of look at. And one of the important things, especially if you watch any of the VOD reviewing of, you know, Jane, or even what Seagull did with some of the Overwatch World Cup stuff that he did, one of the important things and one of the sort of the tells for you as a team, if you're playing goats versus goats, is when does the opposing team use not the personal shield on the Zarya? You pay attention to that too, but when is the one used that's generally going to get used on the Reinhardt? Because that's sort of your cue to go in is, okay, they just use the shield on, or the bubble on the Reinhardt. Well, now you know the Zarya doesn't have it. Now you know you have a target that you can go and attack. So that's like one of the important parts of this new of the nuances that are part of goats as well, where it's okay, where are the bubbles being used and when can I attack somebody? When can I use my stun to take one of these targets down? So paying attention, like tracking the bubbles of Zarya is so huge in those matchups, and something that definitely, if you're not doing it well enough, that alone could make you lose fights.
Indeed. We're gonna have to see how these teams adapt to their knowledge. Zarya gonna be picked up by both teams heading into this onto Dorado. Gonna be our second match of the night. Gonna be our payload map of choice. I could not speak English like at all. It's hating me. Did they change? Payload looks different. I don't remember this little like big speaker thing being on it.
Big speaker thing? You know what? I haven't even paid attention. No, I think that was there before.
Okay.
I don't think it's changed on Dorado. It's changed on some other maps though, obviously. The one thing here to look at, you still have this Death Ball comp coming out from the side of Hot Dads. They're obviously trying out the new Reaper because he had some big buffs that came through. So pay attention to what Primetime can do on the Reaper. And of course, we know how Hanzo's changes have affected him so well. So they do have a lot of damage that can come out from this Hot Dads team.
Yeah, and they're really just they were sitting up on the ledge. They realized they got to get around the corner. Now we're really going to see this big fight happen in this archway right here. They're going to back off the point, the side of Team Caustic. And really, we're going to see the actual scrapping start. Just firing back and forth. Nobody just kind of feeling each other out, seeing how the teams have adjusted, see what's different about the comps, look for something. Primetime seeing a Winston, one of his favorite things to see as a Reaper. And he's just going to be letting loose into this little alleyway. Everybody all grouped up in a little choke point. All of these tanks building themselves up a lot of ult charge, just firing back and forth, charging forward the Reinhardt. But a real nice grenade from Anna to keep a lot of her team healthy. And now they're bringing it down, following them down the steps. Primetime being able to take down THC Gambit as the first blood of the fight, knocking out the mech well. I'm seeing a lot more blue kills than I see for red kills right here. They're trying to chase them around, trying to get the payload to move backwards, but the back push happening from somebody as the fight's going on. Panda Boy trying to get over here to help keep his team healthy, but instead he's just going to choose to push the payload forward in the midst of all this fighting.
Definitely a good thing to try and do. The only problem is Primetime's there to make sure to stop it, and now Primetime's team's able to get right back and get on this card. It's really weird to me, Manny, that Caustic is using Gambit on this Winston. He doesn't really work with the sort of comp. They're basically running a 3-3. They're running goats, but they're not running it with the main tank that you need. They're not using Reinhardt, and it's such a disadvantage, especially when they're using Reinhardt on the other side.
You know, I feel like the shield, but also the ability, hold on, Primetime gonna jump down, get slept before he's able to actually kill anybody. Real good reaction from that Anna, but the ulti's more than enough to scare people off and give the rest of his team the courage to push forward and get some kills without even using ultis. So the payload just gonna keep moving back further and further out of this bridge or this little archway. And blue team gonna be looking for another fight, but we might see a big fight coming up soon. 4 ultis on the side of Hot Dads and 5 on the side of Team Caustic certainly leads to a storm of room.
And THC Gambit is switched over to the Reinhardt now too. So now you get the Reinhardt that you need. The only problem is you've given so many ults to Hot Dads Esports. So they do have enough to take this fight, but this is something that they maybe could have won these fights a little bit sooner. They still have to play this right, though. We'll see what they decide to do.
Yeah, the Hanzo area able to find them up. We're going to see 2 people getting caught up, trying his best not to get pulled in as a third. And now here we go, the beat being dropped, Deep Ulti coming in from behind. Going to see how good they can get away from it. Real nice shift from Reaper allows him to not get hit. Tommy going forward, THC Gambit quickly battling back. And now we see the tanks trying to flex their muscles and show just how much damage we can do, especially with D.Va being unstoppable. Arietta doing his best to get that grenade out. Primetime getting pushed back around this corner. And red team really just pushing the blue team, even without getting killed, just real good dominance right there in that team fight. Able to push them back, and now somebody on the payload, Brigitte getting it moving forward, and they can hopefully get out of this bridge, out of this archway and up to this square.
The only problem is it's taken them so much time to do this. They only have 30 seconds left, so they cannot lose a team fight, or otherwise they're done in this one.
Gonna have to see what they can do, especially the fact that they pretty much evened out on ultis. Now they're down in ultis. Real good Reinhardt shatter right there to hit onto other Reinhardt. Actually, I think it only hit other Reinhardt. Never mind. So blue team pushing them back right here, and red team gonna really have to find their groove right here. It might be this ulti pulling 3 people together, smacking everything they can, trying to take them down. The Reinhardt shield doing the best it can to keep them alive. Here we go, the ulti coming through for Hanzo, not actually able to hit too much. D.Va ulti not finding a lot either. Just looking for something right here. Blue team grasping at straws almost, trying to keep this fight alive. Or excuse me, red team trying to keep this alive for themselves as best they can. Blue team bending them back, but they're able to get more bodies on the payload. Red team being able to find the little rhythm they need. They might be able to push it forward. Blue team going for the retreat, and red team's gonna be able to get this tick mark and get themselves some extra time on the clock.
There's a little bit of a misplay that happened from Hot Dad Esports there, because they were in the perfect situation to win that. The Graviton Surge doesn't kill anybody. You get out 2 of the most important ults, and that and the self-destruct, so they didn't even combo it. So you still had plenty of opportunities to stay in that fight, and they just I didn't see who it was who fell first, but once that happened, they couldn't stay together as a team as well. So a good job from Caustic to be able to take advantage of a mistake.
Here we go. Getting broken down right again by Milk. He's going to jump into the fray first team right here. They're going to try and reestablish their dominance. They're doing it pretty darn well, if I do say so myself. Taking down 3 members. Going to send the red team a 4th one on this. And now they're just trying to get these stagger kills, chasing them all the way back into their base. Winston dropping his bubble. An absolute fear in his own house as red team has to regroup and watch their payload get pushed back as the clock continues to tick down and down. And they still, even though they won that battle right there to get the tick, they still have to climb a hill, literally.
They've got to climb a hill, and they have no time to do it, too.
They don't indeed. Hanzo shooting his ulti through the wall right here, just looking for something. A lot of fighting going on in such a small room right here. Everything getting smacked around. Tommy able to find himself some kills. Marky Candy as well, picking up all sorts of kills across this little team fight. Reinhardt being able to find his ulti pretty soon, too.
I don't understand that change, especially now, because you're back to having a Winston. Like, you're going into a small room with a guy with a giant hammer. That's not a good idea. And they have so much more damage on the other side.
No, not indeed. It just kind of seems kind of funky. Ulti not really doing all too much right there. Just kind of grouping everybody together, making a little party. Now we're going to see THC Gambit getting that ulti. See if maybe this is what they made the switch for. To have the Ana ulted Winston as he's jumping around, trying to find some damage. Now here we go. We find the blue team's already ulti, going with the Hanzo ulti right through them all, taking 2 people. The counter Diva Bomb only able to find 1. Blue team looking like they can shut this down pretty quickly, but Winston jumping around in his raging monkey form, trying to get Milky down. Doesn't look like he'll be able to sustain himself much longer.
Oh.
So, yeah, he was so close. Did he get the ulti off? Oh, shoot, no.
I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he did that. I don't understand that. You're the only one. They gotta go so far to even get this cart to touch the point. Like, that's a waste of an ultimate that you don't have for this fight now. You've got, like, panic changes coming out from the side of Hot Dads. I don't understand it. Like, these are changes that are confusing to me in this point in the fight when you've been winning these fights. You just kind of lost because you didn't use ultimates well there at the end. Now you've changed the things you think can deal with this, but you've got to do it here. Otherwise, they're going to get another checkpoint.
And this really isn't the way. I don't want to see the same thing happen again because, like you said, it wasn't that someone said in the chat, it's not necessarily the comp that was the problem. It's not really the same comps. This team's just not playing them right at the right moments. Sorry, ulti got eaten? I think it just got eaten. Wish they would add that to like the kill feed to be able to tell. But nonetheless, Doomfist smashing around, and maybe these hero switches gave them the breath of fresh air they needed, or maybe it did it because honestly we're seeing them all fall left and right. Gonna see it get pushed through, and Team Caustic look like they're gonna be able to get themselves the second tick in a very similar fashion to how they got the first one.
The other reason why Hot Dads Esports switches are bizarre, you know that Team Caustic is in a potential 1-fight scenario, so you are now giving them free ult economy by making those switches. That's why the switches at that point for the team that really had been dominating for the most part, it becomes really confusing.
Doomfist quickly getting counter stunned and having to jump out of that fight right there as he tries to pop it off. Red team now is a lot more swag in their step after they've seen how these fights go for them, and they're fighting like they know they're the cool kids in town. Diva Bomb going across the back line, scaring a lot of people off, and now we've seen a split happen across the blue team. Antithesis is all out here all alone, and we see it as he goes down, as well as 2 other members of his team. Tommy going down, Prime Time, almost a team kill happening right there. And red team doesn't look like they know how to stop. They look like they don't want to stop, but they're just going to keep pushing forward. Ana all the way back here providing that healing support that her team needs as they push further and further, holding them up in this doorway. We're going to have to see some magic happen right here for Hot Dads if they want to stop this.
Now they got to try and fight through this Graviton Surge as well, but caught everybody in there. And an anti-nade comes out too and catches a bunch. So this looks like it's going to be eventually the win here for Caustic on getting this push done.
Yeah, Prime Time trying to use that ulti, but not able to really find all too much. Red team just at this point has way too much momentum, way too much ult economy in their favor. And blue team just panicking, grasping at straws, switching heroes. Calm's not really in the best scenario, it seems like. And they're gonna lose all 3 points right there. Although they only left them with 1.6 seconds on the clock, but they still were able to get all 3 points.
I think the one thing to remember is this is a scrim. This is not an actual game. So
No.
maybe their thoughts was, well, let's try, if we're behind in ult economy, let's try using this specific comp and see what we can do with it. That's entirely a possibility.
No.
That's something that they definitely could have had. As far as playing the game the right way and things you'd want to do, you shouldn't make those switches at that point. It just you're putting yourself behind when you don't need to be. Your comp was working well. Even the switches that they made, I mean, switching to the Winston from, I mean, we saw earlier that the Reinhardt v Winston, the Reinhardt wins that battle in that sort of style of comps that both teams had. So it's confusing from that standpoint. So if you look at it from this, they also don't have to switch sides. You know, they let them push the cart the whole way. So now we don't have to get the reset to happen here. So that way they can try and get all 3 points. Maybe that was their plan too. I don't think so, but it's something else on the film that they can kind of look at and say, okay, these are things that we don't want to do if we're in an open division game and we're trying to get ourselves into contenders.
So I feel like you just tried to give a long explanation to try and say they're sandbagging.
I
I
wouldn't say they're sandbagging. I would just say that they just wanted to not have to restart. And I don't know.
Okay.
Let's put it this way: the switches definitely didn't make sense, and there's something that they can look at and say, let's not do this again.
Hopefully not. They learn from the lessons. A similar death ball coming out from Team Caustic as they now find themselves on the defense. Hot Dads find themselves with the difference, though. They're going to be choosing to use the Widowmaker. I tried to say it with a little bit of a French accent. It didn't work out for me. She's going to be on this backside, just sniping through, trying to find some heads to take off. But there's Reinhardt shield in the front, not allowing anything. We're seeing a bit of a Roadhog, which we haven't seen busted out so far tonight. So maybe a little explanation as to why you feel we're seeing this come out from the side of Team Caustic on defense.
We did see it from them, I think, on the first control point on Night Market. That's how they run their goats. I don't know why they'd use it. And, well, there's the Earth Shatter. That's going to not feel very good.
Not feel good at all. When you feel the ground beneath you shake and all your body parts start to quake. And then you look around and everybody's just kind of not alive on your team. You just kind of can't really do too much. It was pretty good Earth Shatter timing from them right there. They got it right before pretty much any major ult came up on Team Caustic. I don't know if that was planned intentional or just lined up that way. But nonetheless, it happened. And now they're able to open up these doors. And now they have 5 minutes to get to the second point.
So the Widowmaker makes sense. I mean, in place of the D.Va, because you do have that one-shot potential, and you do have some squishies, but in such a tough spot right now is Caustic.
Mm-hmm. Trying to find some heads right here. The ulti from Zarya already charging up a second, but here we go. Rage Roamer's going to have his, and he's going to drop it right here, grouping everybody together. Absolute ravishing, disgustingly clean team fight right there. Antithesis is trying to run for her life, and she might be able to make it away with some of her dignity. I take that back. She's going to get chased down. Team kill, and she's going to be taken down a little bit later than the rest of everybody. Team Caustic flexing their muscles and keeping this payload right here at that 0 meter mark.
And that was good from Gambit to see that he had an opening to use his Earth Shatter there onto the rest of the team. Tommy was positioned a little bit too far to the left. His team is exposed, and he's able to get that Shatter on everyone. Good block of a Shatter, too.
Indeed, indeed. And now we see the Coalescence trying to keep as much of her team healthy as they're trying to push around and make way for this point. And they're doing a pretty good job. Headshot from Widow. Tommy taking down Range Roamer. Marky Candy telling that support to go to sleep. And that leaves pretty much Kiba Kira as the only one to try and say anything, but he's not in a position to actually do too much, as Widow's just going to sit on top of this, standing tall, looking good, and helping them push forward and continue to use up, push forward with, they still have so much time left on the clock. Holy moly.
This is a good switch, though, from the side of Caustic. Oblivion going from the Roadhog over to the D.Va. This is why you want D.Va in this sort of comp, because what can D.Va do? D.Va can just basically shut down the Widowmaker, not to have to worry about it. But they're losing the fight where it counts most right now is the only problem.
Yeah, losing it right here. They go for it again. Hot Dash just pressing the go button real well for this team. D.Va getting, or excuse me, not D.Va, Zarya getting all up in the mix of the fray, telling the support to go back to where he came from. And we're going to see the whole red team using the recall, using the runaway, as we're going to watch possibly the second tick being gotten right here, unless Rage Roamer has something to say about it with this ulti.
The one good thing here, though, for Caustic, this is where their comp becomes most powerful. It's so much more enclosed. There's not as many sight lines for the Widow, and you still have a D.Va who can go and shut this down. The D.Va just has to play this matchup right And the 1v1 of the D.Va versus Widow should always go in favor of the D.Va.
100%. She just puts way too much pressure on the Widow, makes her have to back into a corner, or they're all going to get pulled into a corner right here with this ulti from Rage Roamer. Beautiful utilization right there to take down 3 members. And blue team's going to have to call for a regroup right here. Anti-Thief's just trying to run and not get staggered, but they're chasing him and Felony pretty darn hard.
Able to get away. A good job using that grapple to make sure to get away, give a little bit less ult charge, but the ults are in such a good spot for Caustic. This is really where you can hold. You can hold for 3 minutes here, no problem. This is, you know, one of the easier points to hold. It always is whenever you get to the ends of maps like this. Oh, no.
Whose dead body am I watching? Oops, my bad. Here we go. Trying to fight some more. We're going to have another Coalescence being brought out right here. Love that Irish accent from our girl Moira right here. Letting loose onto the team. Arietta just on the back, giving that support that she needs to her tank, but she didn't get smacked on the ground as a as a thingy ball happens from the other team. I lost control. A lot of kills coming in. Graviton Sirs, thank you. There's a lot of kills coming in favor of the hot dads, but it's they're trying to push this forward with these couple of members, and they're going to take down these last couple of members. Oblivion DVDR getting knocked out of his thing, and the members of hot dads that they did lose are quickly on their way back to provide support. Here we go, Keep Akira using his ulti right here, give that support as they need, fighting around this corner. They need to stop them getting this last little hill, but they have 2.5 minutes to do it. Hot Dad surely trying to find the crack to the Da Vinci Code that is winning this map. Lucio dropping the beat, Panda Boy giving his team all sorts of shields, but it can only delay this fight as we're going to see more ults coming up from Hot Dads. Zarya's getting close, Reinhardt dropping the shadow onto so many people. Busting it wide open, pushing forward. Anti-Thief is using the shield, grouping everybody into this ball. Rage Roamer does, but it may not be enough. Here we're going to see Marky Candy having his ulti. Going to drop it right here and just kill off these supports as the team pushes forward. Going to see the other Zarya trying to put herself on a point, but there's only so much you can do. D.Va ulti gets 3 people. Big bomb right there. And that might actually be the clear out that they need. Milky's sitting over here in a corner, just waiting to regroup with this team, and he's going to run back and try and make his way out, see if they chase him down. If they let him escape, he should be able to get back to his team, no problem. But holy cannoli, that was a decisive fight-changing ulti from Oblivion right there.
Sometimes it's not about, you know, the ultimates that are used, it's who has more ultimates. That was sort of the case there. Caustic just had more ultimates. The self-destruct, the one that finally did it. They keep using ults at such good times. Their Graviton caught all the characters you want, but they just didn't have the... They weren't focusing the right targets to get it to really work. So they have the makings of making this working really well.
Indeed, as we see everybody get pulled in together. 4, 5, 6. Oh my goodness, 6 deaths in the bank account right there. As we see everybody falling, a team kill real quick in favor of Team Caustic. I didn't even have a chance to try and cast that one. I just saw everybody die.
That's how you want to see this 3-3 comp work. You want to see one ultimate cycled in, and then you eliminate everybody with it. If you have to use the second one, you do that too. But you're about to have Earth Shatter and the D.Va Bomb. That's a dangerous combo. You throw that D.Va Bomb over the top, make that Reinhardt turn, you can shatter and kill everybody if they have that in their playbook. That's such a strong one if they can do it.
Primetime using his ulti right here. Tommy getting a nice ulti, knocks some people onto the ground, but it may not be enough as they continue to fight right here. Doomfist along the backside trying to find somebody to punch to the wall, and Keep Akira is going to be his target, knocking that girl right out. Here we go. Anti-Thief is sneaking around the corner trying to find himself a second punch. Gonna miss onto the support, but really it's more about just sending the message. As we see a lot of Team Caustic right here losing that support, trying to regroup. Panda's sitting on the payload, just stopping it from moving forward like a nuisance. And we're watching all that time that we talked about earlier is actually been burned through right here, and now we're going to see them on these last couple seconds. Both of these beats being dropped by Lucio. Everybody getting grouped forward, 2 ultis being used at once. Everybody just sitting right on top of each other. Marky Canning finding some kills. Who's going to be the team to come out on top? And it looks like it's going to be those hot dads with their papooses on the front, chasing around this corner. Is this a hamster?
It's Hammond. That's what Wrecking Ball coming in.
What? Okay, I don't think I am going to try and figure it out. Nonetheless, they're pushing them right here in their home, trying to stop them from pushing out of the gates. Another D.Va ulti, maybe the decider right here, putting up the shield. thankfully able to save it, and only one person goes down. And yeah, the hot dads are getting some hot business going. It's hot and heavy in that little room because there's a lot of dead bodies all over the ground. But hot dads able to come out on top and take round two. Both teams though not going to really have any time left on this 3-tick thing.
Yeah, we'll see if they decide if they're going to call this map here or not. They might decide to do that and move on to the next.